Yo, what is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to another video. Today we've got a lot of information to go over when it comes to the Nintendo Switch worldwide sales. We have software and we have hardware. A lot of cool stuff to go over, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with the Nintendo Switch itself. Sales have hit 19.67 million units to consumers worldwide as of June 30th. So more than a month ago, sales did hit 19.67 million. So that means the Nintendo Switch officially at this point is over 20 million units, because the Nintendo Switch has been selling at least anywhere from 30 to 50,000 units in Japan for like the past month. So we do know that sales are at 20 million plus, but as of June 30th, sales are at 19.67 million units. Now that is a total of 1.88 million Nintendo Switch hardware sales, and 17.96 million software was sold during the first quarter, which is a 120.8% increase from the same period of the previous fiscal year. Now Nintendo did not alter its previous forecast that it will ship 20 million Nintendo Switch units between April 2018 and March 2019. Now Nintendo also shared some updated sales numbers for first-party Nintendo Switch titles. Now the first timers do include Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch, and Mario Tennis Aces have all topped 1 million units sold, and we'll talk about exactly what they hit in just a bit. Now the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch first-party titles are listed. So we'll start off at the bottom, and that is Mario Tennis Aces at 1.38 million. Number 9 is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze at 1.4 million. Number 8 is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at 1.42 million, which I'll have a whole separate video talking about that. Number 7 is Kirby Star Allies at 1.89 million. Number 6 is ARMS at 2.01 million. So that game has crossed the 2 million mark for a brand new fighting game IP. Very good on Nintendo's behalf there in the Mario Kart team. Number 5 is 1-2 Switch at 2.45 billion. That game actually continues to sell pretty well considering the type of game that it is. Number 4 is Splatoon 2 at a staggering 6.76 million. Very good for Splatoon 2. Really happy about that. Number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with 9.32 million. That game will be a 10 million unit seller within the next few months here, which is obviously amazing to see. No other individually released Zelda game has came anywhere kind of like near close to what this one's going to do when it's all said and done. Now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 10.35 million for this game. So once again, Mario Kart 8 is continuing to sell really good, and if you look at the numbers here, over 50% of the people who have purchased the Nintendo Switch have purchased Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is just absolutely insane. But maybe even more insane is Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. That is the number 1 title, and that has sold 11.17 million. A good bit over 50% of people who have purchased a Nintendo Switch have purchased Super Mario Odyssey. And if you look at the top 3 games here, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, those games account for over 30 million in unit sales for the Nintendo Switch, which is just phenomenal. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a better percentage per 3 game titles in the first year and some odd months of a system's life. This might be the best percentage ever for games that do not come bundled with the system. So not like, let's say, Duck Hunt or something like Wii Sports. These 3 titles here have just been phenomenal. I've never seen anything like this with the attach rate, with nearly 50% attach rate on 3 games released in the first year and a half. That's just crazy. But to see some of the other games here just kind of going down, Mario Tennis Aces, my boy AV, yo, I think you owe me a $10 eShop card, my guy. I told you that game's going to sell pretty well really quickly. Also, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze as well. But also another thing to note here is Nintendo Labo. I'll get back to Donkey Kong in just a bit because there are so many people up in arms about the price of that game. But Labo is actually at 1.3+ million on the Nintendo Switch as well. I think almost 1.4 million. So where are all the Labo flopped people at? Based on literally no numbers, numbers. And I'll probably do a separate video on this because I've got to make sure I clean this type of stuff up, guys, because this whole stupidity with Labo just kind of irked me the wrong way because it was really shoddy, bad journalism, no following up, not looking at Japanese sales, taking into account like US, like they're seeing sales like Labo units just unsold. That does not tell the whole story. That does not say anything. So now that we have official numbers, we're going to need some of these bigger websites and bigger YouTubers to come out and say, you know what, I messed up and I made this video for clickbait, because pretty much all of the Labo flopped clickbait out there, that's all it was. It wasn't anything substantial. It wasn't anything based on facts or real numbers. It was based on clickbait just to try to get a hit or a few hits on things, and they were wrong and they knew they were wrong. So I'm gonna have to start seeing some updates, or I'm definitely gonna have to start calling out some videos on that one, but that's a video for another day. Now, another thing that I want to get into is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Once again, 1.4 million units, and that game just dropped in early May. Really good. A lot of people were trying to say that that game isn't worth $60. Well, the market has decided that fate when it comes to Donkey Kong. It is worth $60 to have a portable version of Donkey Kong. People don't want to play it on the Wii U. People rather play it on the Nintendo Switch with the 1080p resolution. It made the game easier for people that it was too hard for. I know a lot of hardcore gamers want to come out and say, oh, why'd they do that? But I honestly think there are people who just can't beat Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. It's just too hard of a game for them, or there are kids who want to play it, so they added in that mode. It did really well for them. 1.4 million units. I'm pretty sure it outsold Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, which is just absolutely insane when you look at things, especially what people were trying to rally up and get people angry about when it wasn't really that big of a deal to begin with. You can buy it on the Wii U if you want the cheaper price, or you can buy it on the Nintendo Switch because it is the added and better version of the game. So Mario Tennis Ace is once again doing really well, but I also want to talk briefly about Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 almost hitting 7 million units worldwide, which it will hit, then probably be around maybe 8 million by the end of the year, because there's going to be some big Splatoon sales for the holiday season. I think a lot of people are going to pick up Splatoon 2 and various other games there, so very good to see that. I also want to add in here that more than 86.93 million Nintendo Switch games have been sold worldwide to date. That is just incredible. Now, I'm just doing a little bit of a comparison just so we can see some other things here. We have the Nintendo 3DS, which is at 72.89 million, with software sales at 367.84 million. Now, comparing that to what the Nintendo Switch has done, so 19.67 million units, so pretty much 20 million units at this point. 86.93 million units of software sold. Now let's look at the Wii U, Nintendo's previous or last generation home console. The Wii U hardware sales were at 13.56 million units, with software at 102.28 million units. So in about a year and a half, barely even that, the Nintendo Switch has eclipsed the Wii U fully by 6 million units plus, and then on top of that is almost reached its total software output for the 4 or 5 years that the Wii U has been on the market compared to the year and a half the Nintendo Switch has been on the market. Talk about a complete 180, just a hard turn. Nintendo has just done phenomenal with the system, and there's nothing else that you can say outside of, yo, this was crazy. Like, this is just absolutely insane that they're able to have this type of turnaround. The numbers are trending above what the Nintendo 3DS is doing, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them pass up the 3DS, probably not next year, but the year after. I would think that they probably tie or pass up the Nintendo 3DS, which would be impressive because the 3DS has been on the market for 7 years or something like that. It's been on the market for a long time, guys. So Nintendo Switch is doing really well. We should see an uptick in sales. The first quarters afterwards necessarily wasn't anything big, and on top of that, it's to June, so we don't have the added benefit of Octopath in there, which is obviously a big seller and helping push some units as well. Plus stuff like Captain Toad also came out in July, so we don't have those numbers, so that's going to help. And we also should have stuff like Monster Hunter Generations. I think Nintendo's going to continue to do well, and I think that the games that are selling the system are seriously Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but Zelda, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Mario Odyssey, those 3 games are literally driving the sales of the Nintendo Switch worldwide without a lot of bigger, newer games coming. Now, there's other supplemental stuff. We have stuff like Kirby Star Allies, that's nearly at 2 million units. We also have stuff like Xenoblade, obviously, like I talked about there. Very good game, really helping out. Donkey Kong's helping out. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, we didn't see that yet, so maybe that'll be a million seller in just a bit, or it might already be a million seller actually, but they just put the top 10, so maybe we'll see more on that. But I would guess that Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is probably a million seller or close to it at this point. So overall, fantastic sales there. I think that in the next quarter, Nintendo's really just going to continue driving home the value and what they have with the Nintendo Switch, and people are just going to continue buying those 3 linchpin games. I do think I'll briefly speak on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is Monolith Soft's most successful game by far. There's not really another game that they've done that has come close to this before, not in their Square Enix days when they worked on a bunch of other things, but the Xeno franchise, anything like that, better than any of that. Xeno Saga, Xeno Gears, better than Soma Bringer, any of the games that they've worked on before. This is the best selling one with 1.42 million units, almost 1.5. We should see the game maybe hit 2 million units, possibly by the end of the year. We have the Torna DLC coming up, so that could be a really big boon to sales as well. So what do you guys think about all the different numbers here when it comes to Nintendo Switch? 20 million units sold pretty much at this point, nearly 90 million units of software, and things are only going to get bigger and better by the end of the year because we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee dropping. Guys, those are going to be huge sellers, along with the games Nintendo already has that are still driving the units. Because it's so funny, because people always talk about what is Nintendo going to do to sell units in this first half and all that, but it's all the games from last year. There are still so many people that are buying those games, and that's what's really driving it. Then when you have all those games that's already been released, Octopath and all the new games that are coming, Super Mario Party, all of that, and then you have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in addition to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and a brand new Labo kit that's looking really good, and Labo's actually selling well now that we have some solid numbers. I think it's going to be a pretty good holiday for Nintendo. They're going to hit that 20 million extra forecast and be at around, I would probably say 40 million units by the end of the fiscal year next year. So we should see that. But once again, got to handle this year first. So what do you guys think about everything here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps to spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting PlayerEssence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.